What you're about to watch is the very first lesson from my course, Self-Belief 2.0, where I talk about how exactly self-belief works, where it comes from, how to correctly develop it, and the correct mindset you should have going throughout the rest of the course. If you stick out through the lesson, I promise there's a very cool surprise for you at the end of this video, so stick around. This is a course that took a lot out of me to create. I took a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of deep introspection and self-reflection to get the best out of me. I had to reverse engineer the process that I personally went to be able to develop solid, concrete self-belief. So I hope you enjoy this. The first step to learning is unlearning. The first step to learning is unlearning. This right here is the mindset that I want you to have going forward throughout the rest of this course. Think about it like the foundational principle of this entire course, because you probably have this idea that self-belief is something that you have to improve on or practice or strive for, but that couldn't be further from the truth. So I'm going to go ahead and clear this misconception before we begin this course properly. Let me give you a certain idea of how this works. First of all, what self-belief really is at its core is the elimination of self-doubt. That is what self-belief is. Once you have complete faith in yourself, right? Faith. Once you have complete faith in yourself and you get rid of self-doubt completely, what you have left is self-belief. Because believe it or not, right? Self-belief is something you were born with. Self-belief is your birthright. It is something that you were given at birth. And there you are, little stick figure. You were very cute, very, very adorable child. But over time, because of a lot of different environmental factors around you, right? You have the guardians that were put in charge over you, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, right? Elders. You have stuff like people in the environment. You have different false experiences, I call them. False experiences. We'll get into these later. You've had a lot of things happen to you throughout your life that have reinforced, right, the exact same idea. And that idea is that you have no right to believe in yourself, which is exactly why your self belief has been buried underneath all of this. What should be your natural born talent and confidence and ability to believe in yourself despite anything has been completely overshadowed by all these different things around you that you grew up with, making you doubt yourself. So, again, self belief is what happens when you get rid of doubt, self doubt. All right. Now, if you don't believe me, if for whatever reason you doubt what I'm saying right now, no pun intended, think about when you were a kid. Like, really do go back in your mind and think about yourself as a small child, or just observe children in general. What do you notice about children? What are the things that stick out to you about children? Well, one, they're oddly confident, right? They say whatever they want, they do whatever they want, and they feel absolutely no shame or guilt or any kind of remorse either. Almost ran out of space there. They feel, for the most part, no negative emotion that we as adults feel all the time. And why is that? Because they haven't yet been corrupted. They're still in the stage of life where, in their minds, the grass really is green. Everything is awesome. Everything is fine. Nothing is wrong with the world. People are nice. People are safe. This is you as a kid running through, you know, let's call it a patch of grass. Yeah, it's just green everywhere. Everything is nice. Everything's beautiful. Everything's bright. The sun is shining above you. You got cool little birds flying into the horizon or whatever. That's just you as a kid, right? No worries, no fears, nothing. But at some point, certain things happened that made you start doubting yourself. All of a sudden, doubt started to be introduced in there. So, this entire course, right? If you're going through this course, you should think of this course not as a way for you to practice your self belief or to gain more self belief, so to speak, right? It's literally neither of these things. What this course is for is to help you uncover, first discover, then uncover all the things that are covering up what should be your natural self belief already. I'll give you an example. There's a few years ago, I remember this one video that went viral. If you're in the anime slash comic book community, you know about this channel on YouTube. It's called Death Battle. If you know Death Battle, give me a hoo ha. I can't hear you give me the hoo ha, but I'm gonna assume you did. This is damn. That's a shitty fucking YouTube. I could do better than that. Come on, Jason. Let's see. Give me a square, and then it's a play button, right? There we go. Much better. So Death Battle is a channel on YouTube. And a few years ago, they had this super viral video. First of all, let me even explain what they do exactly. Death Battle is a fucking channel on YouTube, and what they do is they pit any two fictional characters against each other, and they put them in a fight to the death, right? They put them together against each other in a battle to the death. And in this particular episode, two of the most popular characters of pretty much all time have to go against each other. That is Superman and Son Goku from Dragon Ball Z. Two very famous, two very beloved characters. Now, not to spoil the video for you, because I do think you should watch it. It's a very fun video if you're into like anime and superheroes and stuff. But basically, Superman mollywops Goku badly. Superman destroys Goku. And the Death Battle channel got a lot of hate for it from the anime community at large, but specifically the DBZ fans. DBZ fans, that's Dragon Ball Z, which is the show that Goku is the main character of. They did not like the fact that their Lord and Savior Goku Christ got completely mollywopped by the Man of Steel himself. So, what did Death Battle do? They made another video. Literally a part two. Wait, a wrong color. They had to make a part two, essentially, of the same video to really go into more detail and explain to people exactly why Superman would destroy Goku. It was pretty much another Death Battle episode, but with more information, more stats and stuff. Like, oh, here's these more new things we now know about Goku and Superman. Here's all these new feats and feats of speed, of strength, of agility, IQ, more weapons in their arsenal, etc. And well, guess what? Spoiler alert. Guess who came out on top? Exactly. The fucking man in fucking tights. Superman himself, he destroyed Goku again. Now, the reason I'm telling you this story is what was said at the end of that episode that never left me to this day. At the end of that Death Battle episode, because they have two hosted, host the entire show. They're called Wiz and Boomstick. They're just voices in the show, kind of like how I am right now on this course. And the speech they gave in the end was incredible. They said it like this. They said Goku from DBZ was essentially a being that was constantly trying to break his limits, find his upper limits, and smash them. That is what Goku's entire story arc was all about. He wanted to find his upper limit and break it. So you have Goku being in his base form and then eventually striving and working hard towards Super Saiyan 1, and then, well, actually it was Kaioken first, then Super Saiyan 1, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, and now there's all these ridiculous ones that I frankly cannot bother myself to keep up with. It's like Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Red, and all these dumb shits. Don't care. And yes, in case you can't tell, not the biggest fan of DBZ myself. So I'm very happy that Superman won. But more importantly, this is how they described Superman's win. They said the Man of Steel, Superman himself, what he's all about is not the same as what Goku is about. He's not a mortal trying to find his upper limit and smash it. He's more a god born in a world where he's been raised to believe that he's not a god, right? And his entire existence revolves around reminding himself little by little that he's actually a god, right? That's the difference. And that's why there's a massive power gap between, your boy Superman and Goku, right? One is trying to find his upper limits and smash them. The other has no limits and has to live this entire life trying to remind himself that he has none. In fact, to make it, to make this point even more clear, later on in the comics with Superman, he actually goes all the way up to doing the most ridiculous things. Like, let's put it like this: the writers of Superman, reckless motherfuckers. Those guys over there at DC, reckless. They had Superman bathing in the sun at one point. He was literally in the sun. That's the sun, and there goes fucking Superman himself right here. Actually, now that I think about it, I should probably give him a nice little cape. Yeah, there we go. he bathed in the sun because he finds out later that the sun is where he gets his power. Right, the sun is the source of his power, and he bathes in the sun for, I can't remember. I think it was like a whole day or whatever. And by the time he comes out of the sun, he's a literal god or whatever the fuck. And this god is so strong. This super god is so strong he can pull planets and travel across multi dimensions with ease back and forth, and can breathe in the vacuum of space, and not need oxygen for years and years, and finds out he can fucking go pretty much his entire life without eating or drinking or sleeping. Crazy shit like that. Like I said, the writers of this character Superman are reckless individuals. But the point I'm making with all that is how I want you to see the rest of this course. I don't want you to think about it like your Son Goku going through. I used to be able to draw the Superman logo when I was a kid. Honestly, I don't know. I don't got it on me no more. I don't got them skills no more. But you get the point. Um, you're not Son Goku trying to break your upper limits and gain more self belief. You are Superman discovering slowly over time that there really is nothing you can't do. There really is nothing you can't do. That is the mindset that I want you to have going forward into this course. You are Superman. You're already everything you need to be. You already have all the crazy Kryptonian DNA. You already have all the crazy superpowers, all the, ridiculous abilities to do whatever you want. Whatever you want. But you have to go through this journey now of uncovering all the different mental blocks that have been placed on you by others and your environment since when you were a kid. You now have to go through and remind yourself that those blocks are not real. They're simply mental, right? There's a scene from The Man of Steel where Superman learns how to fly. And he kind of jumps at first and stumbles and falls and crashes and then tries again. The only thing stopping Superman from trying to fly as perfectly as he should have from the jump was his own belief. He believed it was a massive feat for him, so it was difficult. But the truth is, even as a child from time to time, he would fly by mistake all the time. I know I'm talking about Superman a lot, but he's just such a great fucking example of what I'm talking about. He would fly by mistake all the time. So why was it still a struggle for him to learn how to fly later? Well, because he believed it was a big giant feat. He believed it was a big deal. Eventually, he got to the point where he told himself these magic words: "It's not a big deal. My B's are very similar to my D's now that I'm looking at it. It's not a big deal. And when you can convince yourself of this, you'll come to realize that it's not just a trick of the mind that you're trying to play on yourself. It's actually the truth. It really isn't a big deal, right? So that's what I want you to think going forward into this. It's very fun. It's very interesting. Uncovering who you are, uncovering all these different mental blocks that are in your head right now, uncovering all these different tactics that have been put in place to keep you a certain way, right? The role of guilt and shame in your life, your fear of rejection, your fear of even starting things out, even all those little things like why you don't have the ability, it seems like, to take that first step. We're going to be uncovering every single thing. We're going to be peeling back every layer. And by the end of this, you would have seen what you really are, someone with all the self belief in the world already. It's I, Jace, your favorite scientist, and I'm not going to be your teacher. I'm going to be the guy that reminds you of who you are. I'll see you in the next one. Okay, that was it. That was the first lesson of Self Belief 2.0. The first step to learning is unlearning, and it's probably the most important step when it comes to your self belief. Now, as for what I promised in the beginning, I'm going to be giving you self belief for just $1. I've taken the price all the way from hundreds of dollars down to a single dollar. And I'm sure you can tell this is a lot of value that you're getting for basically nothing. All you have to do is go to the description, find the self belief link, click on that, and go register for it for just a single dollar. I've been instructed to do this, by the way, by someone that I trust with my entire being in life. So this isn't just for me. This is for a particular person, right? I'm hoping that's you watching this right now. So go ahead, register for Self Belief 2.0, and I'll see you inside. Until next time, it's been Jason Forever Scientist. Do with all this information what you must.